All right, hey Internet, this is the Awkward Gamer here at the 2016 Too Many Games Expo in Oaks, Pennsylvania. So far, I've seen performances by Brentalfloss, Professor Shy Guy, and Trey Frey. Links down there to all of them. We experienced just a glimpse of the madness that is Keith Apicary. There was, of course, all sorts of video game-related boobs, thanks to Broad Street Burlesque, which linked to them down there as well. Pictures are probably around me at this point. And now we're going to go talk to some of the indie game devs and also maybe get a glimpse of the massive arcade this year, which is by far bigger than anything they've put on in previous years. I'll also try and give you a glimpse of the incredible marketplace here, where I've already spent more money than I should have. And at the end, maybe we'll round it off with a nice real-life Super Smash Bros. Wrestling match. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so first off, tell me who you are and what you are.
I'm Justin Purvis, and I'm the creator of the game Movie Buff, which is the world's greatest movie trivia card game ever.
Cool. Now tell me a little bit about the game, like just a brief synopsis.
Sure.
What is it exactly?
Sure. So it's a movie trivia card game that relies on your own knowledge. So the cards are two types. We have trivia cards and strategy cards.
Okay.
The trivia cards are simply movie, actor, role, and quote. You provide the specifics. And every time you get all four of those pieces, no matter how many it takes, it might be 3 actor cards, 2 quote cards, a role card, and a movie card, all connected with one movie, you complete a take. And then we keep jumping from movie to movie to movie, making take after take after take, until somebody gets rid of all of their cards. First person to get rid of their cards actually wins the game.
Alrighty. Now, what inspired you to make this game? What was the inspiration here?
There's been I think anybody who likes movies has been playing this game without cards their entire life. It might start off by you name a movie, I name an actor in that movie. Now you have to name another movie that actor is in it, back and forth until somebody stumps somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Or
like a 7 Degrees of Kevin
exactly,
Bacon thing.
That's exactly what I was going to say. There was also that where you could link anybody to Kevin Bacon, and another game we would play is you name any 2 actors, and we try and link them together the fastest, challenging each other. So I was a military brat growing up, and every time I'd move to a new town or a new country, I'd make new friends who loved movies, and they were playing that game that I thought I had created.
Yeah.
And of course, we've always been playing it. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a unifying game that brought all of the main ideas from the game into one thing, but also left it open enough where you could put your own personal spin on it.
All right. Now, what makes your game why should people buy this as opposed to other games?
Oh, absolutely. So one of the best things about this game is you never will need to buy an expansion pack because the movies got old. Because you're providing the movies each time you're coming in. So whatever movies you've already seen and already will see, you can use in this game. Because it's not like it says Jaws on there, and eventually you're going to be I'm done with Jaws. Mm-hmm. If you're done with Jaws, you need to put another movie on. Simply turn on the TV, there's a movie to watch right there, and you can bring it into Movie Buff.
All right. And now, speaking of, now this is Movie Buff. Do you have anything to expand out to do, TV or other
Yeah, we actually are. So this is the first game in our brand. So our next game is going to be TV Buff. So the same mechanics, but using TV shows. We have a whole new card structure we're going to be using, as well as we're going to go into actually nonfiction stuff. We're going to do Music Buff because of all that crossover that happens between artists, and even we're looking at History Buff because so many things that have the UK leaving the European Union right now, it's going to have impacts on so many other things. So I'm not a history buff, my dad is, so he would be able to tell you how those all impact other things. So we just wanted to give everybody a chance to use that useless knowledge they have. That's where we came up with our slogan, because my mother used to say, what are you going to do with all that useless knowledge, all the movie facts you know? And so I made this game, and I want everyone else to have the ability to use the useless knowledge that they thought would never amount to anything in their head. To have a good time and show people that I know something about something.
Yeah. And now, since you're here at the game convention, are you doing a game one at some point, or?
We've thought about that. We're not really sure how we get the mechanics on that. There could be something there. But that's lower on our list.
Yeah.
Only because that's going to take a lot of thought to try and figure out how to, like, do I do a specific game mechanic? Like, are you shedding? You know, so that's, I can't even, right now I can't even think about that.
All right. Well, then last thing, do you have like a website, anything?
Absolutely.
Promotion time.
Sure.
You know?
So you can go to our website. It's www.moviebuffgame.com.
All right.
We're also on Facebook at Movie Buff Card Game, and we're on Twitter and Instagram at MovieBuffCG.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you for your time. It's been
problem.
good talking to you.
All right, great talking to you too.
See you. So regulars of the show should know, but tell me who you are and what your company is.
My name is Vinny Crisafulli, and really 64 KB Games is not really a company. It's just I don't like using my full name on the internet and stuff. So it's like, oh, it's a company. No, it's really just one dude who hires a musician and maybe 2 or 3 people to do the artwork. So
Yeah.
all
right. Now this is your new game, Humiliation Nation. Tell me a little bit about it.
It's a platformer. Basically, last year I did a Master System game called Bread and Butter World. It was really rough as far as platforming goes. And the sound was also really rough. But I figured, okay, this time I got the mechanics down. I'm going to do something a lot better, and I'll put some more variety into it. Now I have to release like one. Well, I don't have to release one game a year. I shoot for one game a year, but more time I could have like added some more stuff. But this is basically, it's a pretty somewhat fleshed out platform. There aren't a ton of options, but you have 4 different characters, and they compete on this game show, and you win prizes or you die. It's real simple.
Now, what sets this, like, did you do anything majorly different that kind of sets this apart from your other games? Like, have you been building up more? Or?
What's been building up is a lot of the, there's a lot more tiles in here. Basically, I'm doing more frames of animation. Usually I'd only have like 1 or 2 frames. It'd be like all very Nintendo style. But because there's so much more memory storage on these cartridges, the memory space on the Genesis and the SNES and stuff, they're much larger than the old systems. And I can actually get like 12 frames per second on most of the bosses and all the characters.
All right.
So it appears a little more fluid. It's a little unnatural sometimes. I'm not the best artist, but a lot more fluid animation.
Now, aside from the convention, is there other ways for people to get your games? Like, do you sell them online or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, basically, I just made up a website and some business cards. So now you can just go to like 64KB Games at webs.com, and there's download links to the old games. And I'm going to put links to sell the actual games on there.
Okay.
So you'll be able. So once the convention's over, I'll be able to sell a couple of these, and you get them there. And other than that, if you missed out some of my old games, I've got like download versions ready. So,
And now, what are your plans going forward? Like, do you have anything in mind you're dying to make, or do you just kind of wait for an idea to come to you?
It's weird. I have a lot of ideas, and a lot of them just crash and burn. The current one, that's probably not going to happen, but I was thinking like, you know how the old CR games, they weren't really like, frame buffer stuff. They were like just lists of lines, like point, line, point, line.
Yeah.
I think I could do that with the Genesis. I can't do it full screen, but I can do it with like 64 pixel areas, like, 4. You can do like 32 by 32 areas with 1 sprite. I do like 4 sprites, and I can draw within that. I'm thinking I could actually get something like the scaling in Space Harrier. Like, I just do points, and I just redraw every frame. So instead of having like in Space Harrier 2 in the Genesis, you would have 7 different frames that would appear all choppy and stuff.
Yeah.
Here, you just change the points like 1 pixel, and you could get smooth scaling, and possibly even maybe some like 3D.
It'll give you a really good pseudo 3D.
Or like F-22 Raptor for the Sega Genesis. I don't know if you played that, but it's polygon based and it's pretty not impressive.
Yeah. All right. Well, I look forward to the stuff you're putting out, and I'll try the game.
Cool. Thanks.
So tell me who you are and what this is.
My name is Michael Sullivan. I'm with indie team Starfall Studios, and this is our first game, Sneaky Ninja. It's a 2D stealth platformer, like halfway between Mario and Mark of the Ninja.
All right. Now, like, what is the game? Give me like a rundown of like what's going on.
Pretty much, we would describe it as the stealth game that Nintendo would make. So it's it has a lot of Mario DNA in it because it essentially started as a small college project where I wanted to make a Mario game because I'm a big Mario fan, but I also love stealth games, so I just decided to mix the two that way. So it's structured like a Mario game. There's a bunch of different worlds to go through with different environments. You have to sneak from the beginning of the level to the end. But then there's a ton more on top of that Mario doesn't have, where there's obviously stealth, where it's an actual dedicated stealth game.
Okay.
There's a bunch of different equipment you can use for more direct attacks like shuriken and bow and arrow, and distraction weapons. You can throw rocks to create sounds and distract enemies, smoke bombs to create cover, things like that. And traps you can set. You can set landmines on the ground, or these little sticky stun mines that you can throw on enemies and detonate to knock them out. And then there's also magic powers where you can put out torches using magic and teleport and slow down time. So there's a lot of different stuff to add depth to it. So it's has its roots in a Mario type of gameplay, but there's also a lot more to it than that.
All right. Now, where and how is this available? Like, is it just a PC thing? Are you releasing hard copies, anything, or?
It'll just be digital, but it's on Steam and also Wii U.
Okay.
So it's not out just yet. We're hoping to release on Steam in August and Wii U in September or October, depending on how that goes.
All right. And then any plans to go to like Xbox One and PS4? Or?
Not just yet. Like, we didn't want to commit to too many things at once. But after we get those two versions out, we'll see what we can do from there. Because I'd love to get it on as many things as possible.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, last thing, do you have like a website anywhere, like plug time?
Yep.
Tell us how to find it.
So we have starfallstudios.net is our website where you can find the game. We're also on Facebook and Twitter at SFS Games, and Facebook is like Starfall Studio Games. Okay. So you can find us on all those sites there.
All right, then I'll give it a look and we'll see how it goes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, now tell me who you are and what this is.
Sure, my name is Sam Ruggieri. I run a small game development studio called Voyager Games, and we're building our first game called Outer Colony. It's a world simulation game, kind of along the lines of Dwarf Fortress, if you've ever heard of that one. Yep. It's a little bit Sim Earth-esque. As far as what the game really is, my background, I used to work in defense, and I got to a great opportunity to work on the research side of things, doing AI research and working on some pretty heavy-duty world simulations. And what I'm really trying to do is bring some of that bleeding-edge technology to the world of gaming with Outer Colony.
Excellent. Now, what made you decide, to make a game? Like, with everything you were doing, what decided gaming was the direction you wanted to go?
Well, if you're working on the research side, if you want people to take you seriously, you pretty much have to have letters behind your name. And so your options are either go back to grad school and spend 5 years getting a PhD, or go out and try to implement solutions on your own in software. I had all these ideas, but as an engineer, rank and file, you kind of wind up implementing other people's ideas more so than you wind up doing your own. So I thought it would be a great fit for building a game. I've kind of always liked computer games, and so I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to implement my ideas on simulation and AI.
Excellent. Now, just give me a basic, rundown. What all is the game? What's going on?
Sure. The overview in a nutshell is that it's a world in a box. It's extremely open-ended. We run a bunch of algorithms to simulate real-world processes, geological ones, climatological ones, to build, a deep world map that's the framework for the AI to operate in. And my overall view on AI is that artificial intelligence is only as strong as the world that it operates in. So if you think about a regular game world like Halo, Call of Duty, they look great, they're fun games, but the worlds themselves are pretty shallow. Not much can happen there. You can walk around, maybe if there's physics you can bump some stuff over, you can kill people, but that's about it. An Outer Colony world is comprised of a huge number of voxels, Minecraft style, where all of the voxels are made up of materials that can be manipulated, and that's the backdrop for the AI. As far as the gameplay itself is concerned, you embark on a world, you've got 8 NPCs that you start off with to build a colony, kind of like Dwarf Fortress, and you issue all sorts of orders to them. Mine, farm, cut down trees, refine materials, manufacture, and then there are a bunch of RTS elements in that you can equip your personnel with all sorts of weaponry, armor, send them off to fight, kill, and do all sorts of things like that.
All right. Now, with those elements in place, do you have, or are you planning on a multiplayer type of scenario?
We've got single player and multiplayer working right now, and we're in internal testing, but we're going to cut a public demo that'll have both.
All right, and now is this going to be available? Is it just PC, or are you aiming for like a console port at some point too?
It's going to be really tough to do a console port because so much of the gameplay is very wrapped into using the keyboard. The other issue is that all of the underlying mechanics, there's so much going on in the world, like leaves falling off trees in the autumn, snowpack accumulating. All these things require huge volumes of processing, plus the AI system. We wound up having to build a custom game engine in Java from scratch. And one of the weird things about the game engine is that it's fundamentally multi-threaded. So a lot of game engines are basically single-threaded affairs because the gameplay logic itself is simplistic. The real processing requirements are on the graphics side. Outer Colony is a little bit the opposite in that the processing requirements are extreme. So I need to take advantage of every core available in order to get it to run well on in a typical end-user system.
All right. Then just last thing, kind of, plug yourself. Is there like a website, a way for people to get information, check it out?
Check us out. VoyagerGames.com is our website. You can follow us at Voyager Games on Twitter. And we post YouTube videos constantly, all sorts of updates coming out all the time. Way more on the website. I can only give the briefest overview. It would take me hours, and it would take hours of your time to go through all this stuff, but there's so much to see out there. So check us out.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. Now, just tell me what's your name, what's all this?
My name's Greg. I'm part of Retro Taming Games. This is our new NES homebrew. It's called Haunted Halloween 85.
All right.
It takes place in 1985, and our hero character here, Donnie, he wakes up in the morning, he's late for school, so he gets to school and he finds out that shit hit the fan and everything's haunted. Now he's got to fight his way back home.
Excellent. Now, why specifically like the Nintendo? I've seen some people doing the homebrews. What made you go for that instead of like just a Steam release or maybe a newer console?
Well, it's what we love. It's like our favorite era of gaming. So we had thought about, like if we were going to make a game, what would we want to do? And without a doubt, it was make an NES game. We stumbled upon the website NintendoAge.com. And saw that it could actually be done, like that this, because none of us come from a game-making background, and so once we found that, we were like, wow, we could actually do this, let's make this happen. So we said, it has to be a cartridge game. This is what we love, the feel, just playing a cartridge game is what we love.
Yeah. Now, like, if your background's not in gaming, like, what made y'all think, hey, let's build a game? Is it just your love for playing them, or was there something that made you think, hey, we should do this?
It was something that we had always talked about doing, like, oh, it'd be cool to make a game, it'd be cool to make this, that, stuff that I thought, like, from our childhood playing the NES catalog, like, what would I like to see in a game, And then my business partner and I, Tim, he's like a Halloween fanatic. So when we saw that it could be done, we were like, well, let's make a game, a Halloween game, and make it based off of like this fighting kind of style game that I like, and with the platforming elements, just the style of games that we loved.
All right. And now, like, give me a breakdown. Tell me about the game. Give me just a quick, good description of it.
Yeah, like I said, so it's pretty much where Donnie shows up late to school and everything is haunted. So he's fighting zombies and ghosts and killer crows and poison pumpkins, and he basically has to figure out what's going on in his town of Possum Hollow and why everything is haunted on Halloween night.
And now, because there are a lot of other indie games here and everywhere else, like, what really, in your opinion, what makes this stand out? Like, what makes this a really good game everyone should definitely check out?
The play mechanics of the game, especially for a Nintendo, we spent a lot of time just getting Donnie to feel right, to have the proper weight to him, and to be still, to be a fast character. He's quick, he's agile. So when people see it, some people like the graphics. I think Zach, our graphic artist, did a great job with that kind of stuff. That's cool to look at. It's littered with 80s references since it takes place in 1985, so it's fun to find those kind of references. And again, once you take control of Donnie and kind of feel the weight of the character and how fast he punches and how much of a badass he is, that I think is what really the charm of the game is.
Great. And now, this isn't just available here, right? Like, can people go out and find this like on a website or?
Yeah, www.cashinculture.com is the online store where you can buy it. And yeah, we go to different gaming conventions and just try to spread the word to as many people as possible.
Great. And then last, plug yourself. Do you have any social media, websites, anything people should check out and follow?
Twitter is Retrotainment HQ. Facebook is Retrotainment Games. If you just look up Retrotainment Games on the internet, you'll stumble across our stuff.
All right, great. Well, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Hey there, Internet. I am here in this massive arcade to tell you that this has been Too Many Games. Hopefully you enjoyed some of the interviews, some of the games, a little bit of wrestling, and everything else I've shown here. I would definitely recommend checking out this convention if you ever have the chance. And of course, check out the rest of my videos and stay subscribed and all that, and I'll see you next time. Alright, Internet, one last thing I forgot to mention. I just got out of the after party. There was some great food, great music. It was a really good time. One last thing, though, I forgot to mention earlier in the video is the cosplay this year was incredible. And now that I'm done with the convention and the after party, I'm out, bitches!